Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connect Groups. First, I want to thank you for being a part of a group. So this past week, we took the week off because of the fair, and so many of you went there together, and then you tagged us on social media with your pictures. And I'll tell you, as a pastor looking at that, it was extremely encouraging because you're doing life together. And I really appreciate that, and I want to thank you for doing that. So here's what I'm going to do now. I want to talk about a topic that we talked about on Sunday. So I'm not going to recap Sunday's message, but I want to just give you another perspective. So last Sunday, we talked about reconciliation. And obviously, this is something that impacts all of our lives because when you're in a relationship long enough, there's going to be some tension and at times some conflict that breaks the relationship, and you need to figure out how to reconcile and get back together. But here's the thought I want to give you. I want to challenge you to see if you have the same heart that Jesus has. And here's what I mean by that. When you think about the dynamic of our relationship with God, God could have chosen to fight against us. It would have been absolutely just for God to destroy us, for God to reject us, for Him to resist us in our lives. God could have done that and been totally right. That's what just means. He would have been absolutely right in that behavior. But instead, because of the loving nature of who God is, He is a God of redemption. So instead of fighting against us, God fought for us. Now think about that. In our relationships, do we have the posture that says, I'm going to fight for relationships? The truth is we live in a very controversial time. We live in a time, I would say probably more so than any other point in history, where we are conditioned to form very strong and dramatic opinions and to share them. There's also a very divisive element about our culture, and if we are just being specific right now for us, in the political season, it's the most controversial time and divisive time of the year or every 4 years. There are so many reasons in our lives that we can find to have friction and break relationships. But are we going to be a people that fight for relationships? And that is something that has to begin in our hearts. Many of us have had legitimate things that have been done to us. People have been rude to us, they've betrayed us, inflicted wounds on us. It's legitimate. No one is minimizing that. But are we people that will mimic the behavior of Jesus and still choose to fight for those relationships, even when the other person is undeserving for that? Because that's what we find ourselves in. We were absolutely undeserving. There was literally not a single thing that we ever did to deserve the favor of God. But God came after us by becoming man in the person of Jesus, and He fought for us. So here's my encouragement to you. Will you fight for the relationships in your life? For you and your marriages, instead of fighting against each other, will you fight for your marriage? Will you fight for your children? Will you fight for your friendships? Will you fight for your pastors? Will we be a culture that says, I love you enough and I am loved enough by Jesus that I want to do this, where I will fight for you and not against you? I love you guys, and I hope your discussion about reconciliation is a powerful discussion, and I hope it gives you some very practical things that you can implement in your lives. I love you, and I'll see you this Sunday.